You're staring at a pile of dishes, a menu that's already set, and the nagging question of whether you're about to drop a few $100s on a piece of equipment that will just sit there gathering grime. I get it, you don't want to waste money on a food warmer that looks good on the spec sheet but ends up being more trouble than it's worth. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through exactly why the VEVOR 5-pan commercial food warmer might be the right fit for your kitchen, or why you should keep scrolling. First off, let's paint the picture of a typical day for someone who needs a buffet-style setup. Think of a small catering company that does corporate lunches, a family-run diner that serves all-you-can-eat at brunch on weekends, or even a backyard host planning a holiday feast for 30 guests. The common thread is the need to keep multiple dishes at a safe, serving-ready temperature for hours without constant attention. That's where a multi-pan steam table steps in, and the VEVOR model brings 5 20.6-quart pans into the mix, each with its own heating element. The independent heating system is one of the first things you'll notice. In a real-world setting, you might be serving a steaming bowl of chili while the desserts sit cool on the side. With separate controls, you can crank the chili up to full heat while leaving the pastry pan at a gentle keep-warm mode, preventing the crust from turning rubbery. That kind of granularity is a practical win, especially when you have dishes that vary widely in moisture content. Speed matters, too. The 3750-watt draw means the pans reach serving temperature in roughly 15 minutes from cold water. In a fast-paced catering run-through, those 15 minutes translate to less downtime and more time plating. I've seen similar units where the water has to sit for half an hour before anything is ready, and that lag can throw off the whole service timeline. With VEVOR, the quick heat-up cuts that waiting period dramatically. Mobility is another factor that often slips under the radar. The unit rides on lockable casters, which is a simple but huge advantage when you have to move from kitchen prep space to the dining area or load it into a delivery van. I've watched smaller steam tables that are built into a fixed countertop. Trying to reposition them means dismantling plumbing or dragging a heavy slab across tile. The VEVOR's wheels make those moves feel almost effortless, and the lock-in-place stops any wobble once it's set. Now, let's talk about the material choices. The pans themselves are stainless steel and food-grade, which means you won't have to worry about metallic tastes leaching into sauces or the risk of rust spots after a few months of steam exposure. The acrylic sneeze guard is clear enough to let customers see what's on offer while keeping splatters contained, a small detail that helps maintain a tidy presentation during a busy lunch rush. So, who should seriously consider this unit? If you run a small to medium-sized operation that regularly serves multiple hot dishes at once, catering trucks, food trucks with a back-of-house, a bakery that also does hot breakfasts, or a church kitchen hosting potlucks, this steam table checks the boxes. The 5 large pans give you enough capacity to keep a main, 2 sides, a soup, and a dessert all hot without having to rotate trays constantly. The separate heating means you can keep a low simmer sauce from boiling over while the mains stay at a steady 140°F, which is the FDA's minimum for hot holding. On the flip side, if you're a home cook who only needs a single dish warm for a dinner party, you're probably overpaying for the extra pans and power draw. The unit also leans on electricity, so you'll need a dedicated 120-volt outlet that can handle the 15-amp load without tripping a breaker. In a cramped apartment kitchen, fitting a 70-inch wide, 30-inch deep appliance could be a logistical nightmare, and the weight over 150 pounds makes it less than ideal for frequent moves up and down stairs. A practical weakness that shows up once you start using it day to day is the water level maintenance. Because each pan has its own heating coil, the water in the reservoir needs to be topped off regularly to keep the steam consistent. Forgetting to add water can cause a pan to dry out, leading to scorching of the bottom and a burnt smell that lingers. It's not a catastrophic failure, but it does add a small task to your routine that you have to remember, especially during long events. Another nuance is the noise level. The pump that circulates the water and the heating elements hum at a low but noticeable pitch. In a quiet CAF setting, that hum can become part of the background soundtrack. If you're aiming for a completely silent dining experience, you might find it a bit distracting. Most commercial kitchens have a lot of ambient noise, so it's rarely a deal breaker, but it's worth noting if you're sensitive to background sounds.